Alright kids, we're back with the Kiesel #2, part 2. We're doing the restring and setup. Let's get to work. Remember this one from the first video where we kind of did a checkout on it, and I told you some things that I didn't like, and we did a little bit of a truss rod adjustment, but we're changing the strings today. We're putting 9s on it. So let's get to it. So basically we're just going to loosen them all the way down until you can see it up in there. Loosen them all the way out. And then you loosen this. And then your string will pop out. Theoretically. And it did. Nice. Not too bad. It's not such a horrible thing. You get it right where it just starts to go back and then you stop. That's it. Stop undoing it. Yep, you just stop there. Yeah. Come out of there. We're going to recheck all of them. We don't want any of them sticking out too far. We want them just at that point where they start to tench it to pull back. I think there's 10s on it now. We're putting 9s. So probably another truss rod adjustment. Maybe, maybe not. You never know. I am going to put a little block under there. First one side and then the other, just so it's not laying flat down there. These little guitars are starting to grow on me. I like them a little bit because I like any instrument that's stable, that's well built and stable. Don't necessarily agree with some of the design elements on it, but to each his own. To each his own. And that will be that. So you look down in there and you can see the string saddle, the string catch, as it were. And that's what you have to kind of eyeball. You don't want to put too much slack into it. I'm going to give these back to the customer. I don't know if he wants them or not, but probably could use them again if he wanted to. I don't know if he will. So here's what I'm talking about. If you go too far, you start to get a little gap right there. And what you want to do is just back it all the way out and then put it in until it stops. That's it. And do that with all of them. And they should line right up linearly. That one's way too far. That's it. Same thing with this side. That one's too far. And as you're turning the other ones, you're not knowing it, but you're turning the ones next to it. And that's why you have to do this little exercise to make sure you're all the way, got the string catch all the way forward without having one of your tuners backed out all the way like that. And there's a gap right there. Let me get that in the camera. Where are you? Right there. You see that gap and how it's not even with the rest of them. Get that up until it just stops. And that will give you all the travel you need to now put the new strings on, cut them off, and then pull it back. Now, what I have found that works really well from the first one that I did, and it was the first one was a little bit of a learning experience. I've done a couple of these, but You don't see them so often, like, you know, I can do a Les Paul or a Strat or a Telly with my eyes closed almost, but because you get them every day. So in, down into the catch, and then pull a little tension on it. Get it up here where you're just a little past the locking nut. And that will give you enough to slide it through there and then start tensioning it. Like so. So when you're done, you won't have any of these nubbins sticking through. You want just enough to get it in there. See, there's a little bit. Pull it back, tension it down. I found about 1/4 of a turn is all you need to put on it to get it tight. And hopefully your string will stay in, which this one didn't. Little bugger. Sometimes you have to put a little bend on this end to get it down in there and stay in there. And then you just start pulling it, put tension on it. Yahtzee. I like that. I like that. That's the first one. Now, I'm not going to bore you with the entire process. I'm going to do one more. A, and then the rest of them I'll do off camera, and we'll get back to the setup. But get it down in there, and sometimes if the string is bent up, it's not going to want to catch. You got to get it just slightly bent down so that when it goes through the saddle, it gets down into the string catch on its own and finds home. If it doesn't, help it along. Just a little bit sticking out. Get it through. There's going to be a little nubbin. Pull it back until it just stops and you can't feel it or see it. And then put a little tension on it, and then maybe 1/4 of a turn. Right there. That's it. That's all it needs. It will lock it. You shouldn't feel any sharp nubbin sticking out of the end. You certainly don't want that. Oh yeah, I think we're going to be good. Not sure where we're at, but let's check it. If we got too much string in there, these will pull back too far and the screw head will start to protrude. We got plenty. I went too far. No, we're good. You really don't want the screw head to like pop out. If it protrudes slightly, it's okay. But once you get it tensioned up, that's where you're at. The key is to not have too much sticking through when you snip it off, because you only have so much travel back here with the tuner to take up that tension. And as you're doing that, it's pulling back farther and farther, and the string head, the screw head will start to protrude. Try not to have that happen. Dig my meaning. All right, I'm going to pause there quickly while I get the other 4 strings on, and then we're going to go from there. Stand by. Okay, so I mentioned some design elements that I am not crazy about on this guitar, and I'm going to tell you exactly what they are. This bullshit down here. You have to be an octopus to put that string in there, first of all, to get this measured out right. Get the string in there, pull it up through this tiny little locking nut that you have up here, have just enough pop through, which, by the way, once you cut it and pull it through so that there's nothing protruding here, if that string pops out there, you don't have enough to get it to go back down in there, because it will not go back down in. You have to undo it here. Oh, and the other problem, if you screw it up and you unscrew that, once you've had the string down in there, and you unscrew it and pull it out, you're never going to get it back in there, and because it's already cut to length, and it's got a bend in it where the catch screw goes down and cinches it up. I'm cursing this when I did the first one, and I'm cursing it again. It's over-engineered, and it's back-asswards. It is absolutely wrong. But all that being said, that's my opinion. Once you get it tuned, it comes in very quickly to stability. So they're using high quality gear, high quality materials. I mean, you know, it's aesthetically pleasing, minus the headstock. And once I had to do just one little adjustment on the springs in the back, which are just like a Stratocaster, because it was pulling too far down, and got that right back in. So now the next step is to check our neck relief and everything else, because yeah, we went from, I don't know, 10s to 9s or 9s to 10s. We went from 10s to 9s. Yeah. And that's why the bridge was reacting the way it was. I already adjusted it. It's simple. You've seen that in many of my videos. You know how that goes. So neck relief, and we said we were going to go with 10. And I'm going to live with that. It's tighter than I would like, but, you know, I'm flexible. If that's where they think it's going to work best, okay, I'm flexible. I'll go with it. I'll run with it. String height, bet dollars of donuts. It's a little high there. I like that. That's at 4, so we got to drive down the base side. Oh, sorry, this is not a... I just worked on a Floyd Rose earlier, so that's only a... And this one's confusing because it's a 2-point, but you got all the Fender type saddles in it, so... I digress. I'm going to do the string height equally all the way across. Is what I'm thinking. And what we're aiming for is we're gonna show 4/64ths, the line for 4/64ths. So I know this needs to come down on the E string. Let's remeasure that, and we'll do these one at a time. I'm going to do them with you. I want it to show 4/64ths, but not get the 5. I just want the 4/64ths showing. Perfect. Perfect. We'll come up slightly. Then we're going to check for level saddles. I like that. Too high. Way too high. Way too high. And like that. Way too high. Sorry if I'm not in the video. I'm trying to stay with you guys while we do the fine tuning on the string height. Perfect. A little too low. Again, I just want to see 4/64ths. I want to see the line. So it's right at 4/64ths. Because I know that's where the client wants it. Now we got to tune it back up to pitch, or down to pitch, as it were, because we brought some of them up and some of them down. And then recheck the string height. Yeah. And hopefully this won't pull up on the bridge too much. If it does, I'll have to readjust that. No, nice and level, because half of them had to go up and half of them had to go down. So that kept the string tension pretty well equalized. Pretty interesting. I gotta say though, once you get them settled, they like it. They will treat you well. But man, the average person trying to restring these things are going to go through some strings. I almost guarantee it. You're going to screw it up a couple of times. So at this juncture, I'm going to pause, only because I'm going to let this settle now. To finish this video, I'm going to let it settle, and then we're going to check the intonation and check the string height one more time. But once you get it here and it becomes stable, it's best to let it set just for 15 minutes, half an hour, and then go back to it. And that really lets the springs and the strings kind of really settle. It's best overnight, but stand by. So yeah, we're almost done. Pops right back. Love it. You can't argue with that. So I have a love-hate relationship with these Kiesels, but you can't deny build quality and stability. Design. I don't like that. I don't like that at all, and you're not going to change my mind. You're just not going to change my mind. And of course the pickups are so goddamn close to it that they're almost touching. That goes back to, why would you let it go like that? These measurements are standard, and you just can't fudge it. You don't let a guitar go after final inspection. You don't let a guitar go after final inspection with the pickup so close to the strings that they're almost touching. Like that. That's too low. This one could come up slightly. This one can come up a little bit. You just don't let it go like that. Sorry, disagree. Too close, you're choking out your sound. Too far away, you're losing power. You know, I say it all the time. Let's check our string height one more time. And then we're going to play it. Well, as much as I can play it. Not a guitar player. Don't pretend to be. I am a bass player. This should be good. Showing 4/64. Showing, oh, that one's a little too tall, I think, for my liking, comparatively. That happens sometimes when you tune it up the pitch. It'll change that setting because you slacked off the string. Good. 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 Yeah, they're all showing the line. And that's all important. That's what the client wants. So that's what the client is going to get. And I'm pretty certain it'll play there. I really think it will. That's the A. We adjusted it. Everything else should be the same. Beautiful. What's it going to sound like? I don't know. Make sure I don't have the gain up too high. The microphone on the camera doesn't like it. Did I not plug my amp in? What happened here? Somebody unplugged it. Did the amplifier boogeyman come in the middle of the night? Maybe. Don't know. Nice and level, the bridge. Like that. Let's see if we can get in the video. How's that? Yeah, sure. I'm going to tell you, just as sure as God made little green apples, I can tell by the way this guitar sounds that the client is going to come to me next and go, can you put some better humbuckers in here? This is what I got. Put these in. I like it, and it's stable. That's about all the playing you're going to get out of me. I like it. It's stable. That part I love about these instruments. Design characteristics, this I don't like, and this I don't like. We had a problem with the first one where he tried to go down to 8s, and it would not catch him. They kept pulling through and pulling through and pulling through. So I don't like that. And I certainly don't like the way you have to fiddle with this a lot to get the strings down in there. Any guitar player should know how and be able to string up his own instrument and make adjustments if he wants to. The average player will never be able to do this. You have to be a mechanic to know how to do this, and you have to be an octopus. Leo Fender had it right. His statement, his mantra was every instrument should be easily maintained and repaired. And if you look at Fender products, yeah, Fender guitars, Fender basses, whatever, easily repaired, easily maintained. Sorry about the ranting. It's Blackjack with 396 Guitars. We'll talk soon. Kiesel.